Here we go then. Week 2. Very nearly upon us. Right. Welcome everybody, hope the audio's okay. I'm just going to do a little bit of a test. I do it all the time, especially when it's YouTube, because the audio has a habit of going a bit haywire. So just give me a second to do that. I'll mute you so you don't hear two of me. Sounds alright on my end. Do let me know in the chat if it isn't. Welcome along to Down for the Count. I'm Baggy. Bags, it's good to have you in the chat, my friend. I'm glad you could make it. Let's check out the intro video that they've kindly made for me. And then we can and then we can have a look at who's driving tonight. So give me a sec, let me get that fired up. So here we go then. P1 v Tanso, week 2. As you may have already spotted, this one's coming live and direct from Spa-Francorchamps in Stavelot in Belgium. Same format as last week, 10-minute qualifying session, 50-minute race in the Group 2 Nissan GTR. Same settings as last week, 5 times tyres, 5 times fuel. We saw that employ into the strategy last week as well. Let's see if the same things happen here. Last time out there, mocking weeks, bit of a clean sweep, took pole position. He was beaten off the line by Wolfie, but ultimately due to strategy and nursing those tyres did bring home the win, sealing a victory for P1. P1 also took P2 with Dizzy coming in second, and in third was Wolfie. Great drive by Wolfie and a very good few overtakes from him during the race as well. Dizzy grabbed the fastest lap, and yeah, let's have a look at the points. I've got a bigger sheet full of them anyway, but in terms of team points, it's P1 taking the lead at the moment with 87. Tanso have got 57 points to the name. They will be eager to get the points back this week. Drivers then for P1, we've got Dylan. Got Maniaf as well. Dylan, of course, a Fusion champion in the GTTCC. We've got Dizzy, very good time out last week for Dizzy. He'll be hoping to repeat his fortunes this time out. We've got Pilgrim as well. Didn't have a great race, Pilgrim, last time. He'll be hoping for a better time. Don has been substituted for Champ, so you can ignore P1 Don on there, but we've got Champ 27 in the room. We've got Rob S as well. He had a bit of a disappointing race last time out as well. Did go backwards. And we've got Valium in the room as well. Someone we know very well on the channel. For Tanso, DMK. We know a couple of their drivers have become familiar with them, but they've got ADG123. AD is a phenomenal driver. He's definitely going to be one to watch tonight. They've got Dominator as well, someone who did very well last week. Had a very good eventful race. They've got Idle 4 Gaming as well, Mr. Darren. We know he's capable. He's also a GTTCC champion. We've got Martin JL09, I believe, is driving tonight. And then we've got Wolfie, who had a great race last time out at Segway B. Dud's also driving for Tanso DMK. And ladies and gentlemen, D.90. I don't need to introduce D.90. He's D.90. Like, I don't need to introduce the guy. You know. So tonight then, Spa-Francorchamps, famous Belgium circuit, of course used in the Formula 1 and the 24 Hours of Spa. It's 7 kilometres is adorned with 20 turns. Eau Rouge, Dillian, P1, Stavelot, they're all there. And these heavy downforce riddled cars will have their work cut out tonight. So let me just get rid of the music. Let's get back to the action. Give me a sec. There we go. Back in the chat then. Down for the count. How are we doing, Baggy? Yeah, I know you're in hospital, Bags. I hope it's all going well, Chief. I know it's a struggle, dude, but we're all here supporting you, mate, as much as we possibly can. We've got 10-minute qualifying about ready to get underway, so let me just get out there. Again, do let me know if the audio's all messed up. I'm just going to mute you for a minute or so, just for like run and grab something that I forgot to grab before. Bear with me. Sorry about that. Thank you, I am back. If you hear me sniffling and stuff during the comms, I started getting a terrible, can only be described as a head cold last week, but I suffer with them pretty badly anyway. So yeah, I've got that absolutely kicking my backside at the moment. So if I get a bit grotty during the stream, you know, it's what it is, but yeah, it's absolutely kicking my ass this week. Yeah, it's a good vid, isn't it, Bags? Chris sends them over to me, and I just load them in, just put a bit of music over it. But yeah, it's really nice to have an intro vid. It's a nice little touch. It's good that they do that for every round as well. I like it. I don't believe quali has started, does he? We're just waiting for the lobby reset to happen. So anyone who was here last week might remember the St. Croix B race. Absolutely fantastic, that one. It looked on the surface like it might be quite straightforward. A lot of the drivers treated it like it was quite straightforward, but then one or two of them took their time, nice and steady, nursed the tyres, nursed the fuel, and were able to save themselves a pit stop and ultimately leap a couple of spots. That really did change the course of the race in the last couple of laps. Pete Marshall, how you doing? Good luck, boys. Easy. Well, Tanso are bringing out some big guns tonight. They've got ADG in, and we know how good ADG is. Tanso are waiting for one more to join, I believe. Yeah, let's have a look at some of the drivers. So some new names then. So Dylan will be pretty new to the channel. I've never actually commentated a race with Dylan in before, but I've raced with him quite a bit. Very fast driver, a Fusion champion. ADG is someone I've raced against a lot. Currently buried himself in a barrier at P1. Now gone into the pits, but AD is very capable as well. We've got Idol 4 Gaming. Idol, someone who, yeah, again I've raced a lot. I think his racing's come along quite a lot in the past couple of seasons. He seems to be getting better and better. Valium, I don't know if we covered him in last time's out, but another P1 driver, definitely can stick it up there as well. Martin, also racing for Tanso DMK. Don't know who else you're going to get driving for you there. These things happen with TVTs, people just don't turn up and stuff. Diz, how we doing? We will. Evening. Come on, P1 boys. Lots of support for P1 in the chat. They are kind of TVT kings. I've read as well that they're looking at getting one set up against IGTSH as well. I may have seen some messages about that. If that comes off, that'll be very good because they've got like Boscoff and stuff, and yeah, that'll pop off. That will if that goes ahead. So we'll wait for that. We'll wait to see. 6v6. So we're going to have 12 drivers on track. We're not going to have the full 14. I think one of the P1 lads is going to have to dip out. Looks like Tanso DMK are missing a driver. So to make it fair, they'll P1 will drop someone who I don't know. It is up to them. Where's my controller? There we go. Yeah, we're just waiting for the lobby to reset. So yeah, we've got 14 people in the room, 13 drivers and me. So one of these people isn't going to be driving. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to get messed up. It's hard to tell at the minute who's going to be driving for who. We'll see. We'll find out in a moment. We've got Pilgrim for P1. We'll just wait until they come out of the pit. Because they're all inside each other like some human caterpillar right now. So, qualifying is go. These are just out laps. These are the drivers' opportunities to get some heat into the tyres, get a feel for the track conditions ahead of qualifying. Of course, it's Spa. It's a long lap, so you can have nice fresh tyres at the start of it, and they can be absolutely cooked by the end. So, making sure that your tyres are in the best condition possible for your push lap is pretty important, especially because the midsection of this circuit is so important to lap time. It relies so much on grip and getting there and getting the car hooked up, under braking, under acceleration, through cornering, massively important. So we have actually got 13 drivers on track, so whether they'll just discount the lowest one, I don't know how they'll work it. That's kind of up to them, that is not up to me. I'm just here to talk about it. What we normally see happen in these sessions is drivers finding space, and I'm not seeing much of that happening. So, oh, Champ's finding a gap, you see, that's what he's doing there. He's just waiting for the right opportunity, whereas some of them are getting on each of his gearbox. Now, there's two reasons for that. So, slipstream, obviously massively important, as we see Champ continue to back out, but he's waiting for a gap. He's probably going to wait for Dizzy to go past, to be fair. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that you'll see happening qualifying that are going to be quite important, well worth keeping an eye on. So these early laps are just initial pace setters. These are going to be set on relatively full tanks of fuel. The drivers will have 100 kilos worth of fuel loaded into the car ahead of the qualifying session. They're not allowed to load any less. The car will burn through that at quite a rate as well, so you'll notice times will get quicker through the session if their fuel drops off. The other mitigating factor to that is tyres, so you'll probably see them do a good banker lap here, so they'll be relatively cautious, they'll be relatively safe. But what they won't do is push things too hard. Shall we find someone to jump on board with? Let's jump on board with Dylan. And let's have a good lap here of Spa-Francorchamps in a GT500 Nissan Skyline GTR. So start finish straight then. You want to get a good exit out of turn one, you're braking just after the 100 metre board. Get the car nice and tucked in, close to the wall as you dare. A little bit of oversteer there from Dylan on the exit, that will harm his speed going down this front straight here, down through Rouge and Medillion. Of course, this has now changed. I believe they've actually demolished that house that is now at the top. Dylan keeps it pinned there. You can run the curbs over the top of Radion, but no further than that you will get a penalty. Up the Camel Straight, we might see some overtakes at the end of here if people slipstream correctly. Braking just after the curb starts, down into second gear, then through the chicane, and get it back over to the left to swing right again. And then you start plunging downhill. The braking here is important. You don't want to run too wide onto the marbles on the left hand side. You will understeer. You want to keep it nice and tucked in. And then through No Name. And Manny, after staying out of the way there, he must have run things a little bit too loud. And then through P1, one of the best corners in racing for me. You look for the light board on the right. That's your turning point. A little bit of a lift in these cars, a little bit of a dab of the brake just to get the rotation over the front end. And then you come to Piff Paff. This tightening chicane then, so it looks very nice and open, then it suddenly just gets tighter and tighter. You swung immediately into a left hand corner and you don't want to run wide here on the right. Then down into Stavolo, braking on the curb, get it tucked in. You can use the curb here on the left and then swing the car in nice and early, then run all the curb. Don't run too far out wide. That AstroTurf's not got a lot of grip on it, and these slick tyres will not like it. Down through, I like to say the back straight, it's not straight, but through it into Blanchimont. It'll be easy flat in these cars, even with worn tyres. And then down into the bus stop chicane. You look for the 150 metres, that's your mark. You brake about 125 in these cars. And then down into the bus stop chicane. Get it tidied up on the exit. Nice and clean lap. We will not see, this isn't going to be Dylan's best time. I think he did lose a lot of time in that first sector, but he still goes purple at 2:05.1 for Dylan. Puts P1 on the top step for qualifying so far. Then we've got ADG P2 at the moment, 206.1. Then it's Champ 206.1 as well. Not much in between those two. Then it's got Valium in at P4 on a 206.3. D-Dot, nice early showing from D-Dot there, 206.6 for him, 1.5 seconds off the leader. And then we've got Idle 4 Gaming, good showing from Darren so far, 207.4 for him. Pilgrim, 207.6 for Pilgrim, just 2 temps behind Idle 4 Gaming. And then we've got Rob in P8. Wolfie P9. Wolfie's probably not set a representative lap time there. In fact, he hasn't. He's burning fuel. So is Dizzy, Maniaf, Dominator and Martin. They've not got laps on the board yet, but there have been some complaints raised with regards to respecting blue flags. That is a flag that comes out when a faster car is approaching. General rule of thumb is there to be obeyed, and you jump out the way if a faster car on a lap is coming out behind you. But unfortunately, it doesn't look to have happened this time. So we might see the situation change a little bit when those guys do eventually get laps on the board. I was just about to say, is ADG Bruce right? I was just about to say you are now going to see a slew of stops. Cars are going to come in and get the tyres changed. Then they'll have enough time to get a nice, patient outlap done, find a gap, and maybe get 1 or 2 fast laps on the board on fresh tyres. Now they are starting to burn away that fuel, so we'll start to see the sector times come down then. So a lot of these drivers now, their cars are about 45 kilos lighter than when they started. That matters, I'm afraid. That matters. That's like having a D-Dot taken out of your car as Dylan peels into the pits. So we're at that midpoint in qualifying now. We're just waiting for a lot of things really to happen, I guess. Let me hide that back over there. Yeah. We may see the situation change then. So any qualifying predictions in chat? Let's have a look. I'm sure he'd appreciate a McDonald's. Yes, Bags, mate, we're all sending you love. We are all sending you love, my friend. You know that. You don't need telling, but we're going to remind you all the time anyway. Because that's what we do. Never met you. Spoke to you a few times. But I'll tell you what. Probably respect you more, or about as equal as I have ever respected anyone ever before. So constantly sending you those positive vibes, my pedigree chum. But hopefully you're watching your boys do a bit of a demolition job here on Tanso. That's certainly what they're hoping to do. But Tanso are bringing the fire. I mean, we've got ADG here, we've got Idle 4. Don't forget Wolfie. Wolfie, who had great pace last time out as well. He's currently sitting P9, not really set a representative time yet. Hopefully he'll be able to get a time on the board and get up there and compete. He's running out of time. His car's taken a whack. He's had an accident somewhere. He's resetting now. Tyres don't seem in too bad nick. Now let's have a look at the live timing. Let's just see if anyone is setting the timing board to light. Idle 4 Gaming actually there in P4, already on a 206.2, is looking to improve his time. Now he's currently 10th and a half behind Champ, so can Tanso start to put some drivers near the front of the pack? They've already got ADG on the front row. What can Idle 4 Gaming do? 206.2 for him to beat. It's going to be a 205.6. That's good enough for P2 at the moment for Idle 4 Gaming. That's a fantastic lap. ADG, no answer for that time round, but he's now going to go and set one. Champ, 206.1 for Champ on and out lap. It's not going to improve this time round, but he will get round to set a lap. A few other drivers out there. Who have we got? Who's setting times right now? Dizzy was about to come through. He hasn't set a time yet. What can he do? Goes pole. 204.6 for Dizzy. Puts Dylan. Dylan's going to be fuming. What can he do? He's on an outlap. He's going to just get across the line in time, is Dylan. He's going to be able to set another lap. So Dizzy, although, yeah, Dizzy's backed out. 204.6 for Dizzy. That's his contribution to qualifying done. It's going to be a case of who can do better, really. Dylan's tyres are in a great shape. He's got rid of a lot of fuel. Dylan is prime position now to get back on pole, but for the moment it's P1, 1 and 2. You have got Idle 4 Gaming, 205.6. Great lap from Idle 4 Gaming. He goes P3. Then you've got Maniaf P4, 205.7. ADG going to be on a fast lap now. What's his timing saying? He was personal best. A lot of drivers setting personal best first sectors, to be honest with you. Dominator, what's he doing? He's the next one across the line. He pits. Yeah, he did. Yeah, you were allowed to do an overlap, Dizzy, as long as you passed the line, you were allowed to do an overlap. Basically, once the 10 minutes elapses, if you haven't finished a lap by the time 10 minutes is up, you can't set another one, basically. But if you have, then you can. Dominator pitted, so unfortunately for him, that's his qualifying done. Champ, massive improvement in his lap time as he comes through sector 2. He's already on a 206.1 in P6. Current forecast for Champ at the moment, based on that lap time, is he should be set to displace ADG in P3. ADG, who has just improved his time of 205.3 now. What can Champ do? He's P7 at the moment. 206.1, but he was quite far up on his lap time in sector 2. P7 at the moment goes to P2, 205.0 for Champ. It's a P1 whitewash then at the top of the grid, with only ADG for Tanso on the second row of the grid. Idle 4 P5. Wolfie did get a time on the board in the end, 205.8, and he started his next lap a bit too late looking at things, so he's not going to get there. We did see a little bit of a change in the order as well. Idle 4 Gaming's actually been shuffled down. Maniaf in the end got in a 205.4, so he improved and he jumped back into P5. Yeah, Diz. Sorry, mate. You were allowed. He did, in fairness to Pilgrim, he did put it in the chat before, he did so. But never mind, mate, never mind. So we'll have confirmation of qualifying up on your screen. I'm going to take this opportunity just to finish my cup of tea, but you're welcome to come and have a look at it. You've still got Paul, Dizzy. Right then, short dash to La Source. They're all in the same cars. Dizzy does get away well, so does Dylan and Champ. Looks like the Tanso boys there didn't get away very well. It might be Maniaf up the inside of ADG. Here it is, Maniaf up to P4. It's P1 in the first 4 positions. Then it's ADG. Wolfie's had a great start. He's in P6. Already looking like he might challenge his teammate. He might want to back out of this one, though. You don't really want to go too wide through here. He does back out. And so far, everyone is cleanly through. A bit of a battle going on there between Martin JL09 and Pilgrim. It's a bit touchy. They're getting a little bit close, these two. It's a little bit touring cars-esque. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact there between Oh, a massive accident then between Pilgrim and Martin. Benefactor from that is D-Dot, who actually gains a lot of positions. He's up to P11. But was collected there by Pilgrim. Unfortunately, a little bit of an accident down here at the bottom, but at the moment, up at the front it is all going well for P1 with ADG, Wolfie and Idle 4 Gaming in P5, 6 and 7 respectively. There is then Valium trying to break up this Tanso train with Dominator trying to get on the back of it, and then it's P1 Rob rounding out your top 10. Then there's a good old gap then back to P11 D-Dot, 3.5 seconds already with regard to that contact. Oh, Dominator's off. And that's Dominator off at P1. It's not very sticky out there, Dominator, unfortunately, and he's just lost a position. And that's going to help P1 Rob get up there and start interfering with things. Idle 4 Gaming then, just trying to become a bit of a nuisance to Valium. Don't forget though, last week, and we had JPH in the chat last week telling us this, it's all about how you approach your strategy. If your strategy is messed up, your race will be messed up too. I know some of these guys will be going all out pace, power and vengeance, and unfortunately that doesn't always pay the bills when it comes to these TVTs. As ADG, Wolfie and Maniaf start going to war, then ADG has to go defensive. These two are teammates, you don't need to battle. They really could do without. There's a long way of the race to go. They just need to work together to start pulling away. Now the dust has settled, I think we might go back and have a look at the accident earlier with regard to Martin and Pilgrim. So they were going side by side then through everybody on. Yeah, it just looked like I don't know how to comprehend that one. Yeah, but Martin JL09, if those tyres haven't got flat spots by now, they'll feel like driving on 50p pieces. And unfortunately for Martin, it's not getting any better. He's span it at the source, and he's down in P13 and last. So that early incident then for between Pilgrim and Martin does seem to have hampered the rhythm near the back. Near the front though, his top three are starting to pull away. Great start then for Dylan, Dizzy and Champ. Definitely playing the team game, these guys. Not holding each other up, not fighting, just working together. Wolfie then up to P4, he's past ADG. Apologies, we missed that. But these two boys hopefully do start to work together as ADG goes out onto the AstroTurf, does rescue it, but that's going to cost him a lot of pace. And is that going to bring Maniaf into the fray? It is, you know. Maniaf is going to go on the attack. ADG goes defensive. A little bit of contact then between the Irishman, the Englishman. As Valium starts to get sucked into this as well, that's going to bring Idle 4 Gaming into the fray, but that has also let Wolfie escape. Unfortunately, Maniaf hit the dildos on the side of the track there, and they unfortunately do slow you down just a little bit, and that's going to be enough for Valium to start going on the offensive. But again, with Valium, he's not going to fire his teammate too much. These guys, as they did last week, will play the team game. In fact, I think I saw Maniaf then. Was he indicating? Was there an indication there from Maniaf to say have a go? No. Oh, bit of contact then between Maniaf and ADG. That's going to let Valium through. Does that let Idle 4 Gaming have a little bit of an attack here on Maniaf? What I can tell you is there doesn't appear to be an awful lot of fuel saving going on, so although we've got a lot of action on track, I think when it comes to the pit stops we'll have some very interesting figures on fuel when they all start to come in. Yeah, it was a good start for Wags. Yeah, good start at the P1 boys. All working together quite nicely now. Let me go back and have a look at the move from Maniaf. So this is the overtake attempt down at the bus stop. You know what? He was going to get that stopped. ADG just didn't expect it and turned in. No fault, of course, to any driver. I think Maniaf, to be fair, it was a bit of a send, wasn't it? It was just a little bit of a send. But it's worth a go. In these TBTs, sometimes you do just need to have a pop. Top three, Dylan, Dizzy and Champ still working together quite nicely. Wolfie, is he starting to reel that in? 1.2 seconds is the gap now between Wolfie and Champ. A little bit faster that last time around, a couple of attempts quicker, so Wolfie might be trying to get track position on these guys, but what I can tell you is the guys ahead doing a much better job on fuel. So again, it might be a mocking week situation all over again. With Wolfie and the P1 boys. Valium P6, oh, just gets it wrong. That's affected a few drivers as well. Oh, we've got a bit of a mess here. The D-Dot though, D-Dot's scythed through that like a knife through butter. And it might be worth us just going back and having a look at that and just seeing if we can dissect what happened. So I think it was Valium that started it off, I think. So coming through Piff Path, you'll see Valium just pushes a little bit to the right. Yeah, he just turns in a bit too late. So that sets him off. Maniaf goes off in sympathy. I don't know. Oh, Dominator. I think Dominator, I'll be honest, Dominator, I mean, you just lost it on your own there, mate. But that mixes things up quite a lot. So I'll tell you what, we're 6 and a bit minutes in, we're starting to see a field spread. Let's have a run through the field then, as the drivers go through lap 4. So Dylan leading the race, a second ahead of Dizzy. Dizzy 1.4 seconds ahead of Champ. Wolfie is reeling Champ in very, very quickly as well. He's absolutely chugging along, is Wolfie. He's in P4. P5 is ADG. Also having a very good race so far. Idle 4 Gaming making a very good start. Idle 4, to be fair, is just keeping his nose clean. and just making a very good job of it so far. He does have a bit of work to do to catch the guys ahead, but if they start to fight, that'll help him out. Man of the moment, D.90, from pretty much the back of the grid, D.90 up to P7, being chased down by Valium. Then it's Pilgrim in 9th, Maniaf in 10th, Dominator in 11th, and Rob in 12th. We have lost Martin. I'm assuming it was a retirement from earlier on. And as Maniaf again just gets it wrong there. That's going to give Dominator a bit of a push then, coming through P1. Oh, Dominator just... Has he still got dirty tyres? I'm not sure. It just looked like the car just didn't have the grip when he started to turn the car in. So drivers about halfway through their fuel allowances right now. Tyres seem to be holding up okay. In terms of strategy, I'd expect the fuel tanks to go 15 minutes maybe. That's what they were doing last week. Bit more fuel gets used here at Spa because you're on the power a bit more. So yeah, 15 maybe a bit more. We'll see. We'll see. I've not done any testing or anything. I'm just guessing. As we see Wolfie then try and go on the attack here against Champ Champ. You can hear Champ Champ here short shifting the car now. We will compare fuel rates between him and Wolfie, but that's naturally going to make Wolfie a little bit faster. No overtaking really possible through Eau Rouge and Radio. Wolfie can get himself in the slipstream though, line up a move at the end of the camera straight. Champ Champ's obviously going to defend it. But ultimately, if he's saving fuel, he'll just get the place back in the pits anyway. Wolfie's going to try and send it round the outside. Very close between the two. And Champ Champ just a little bit better on the brakes than Wolfie that time round and able just to hold the car. Yeah, Wolfie using a little bit more fuel, but it's not a massive amount. It's only a couple of kilos worth, so not a lot. And ADG has really caught up with these guys. AD is going through his fuel a lot faster. Same as Idol 4, who is dropping back from that pack. Valium's got ahead of D-Dot. So D-Dot, who's got engine damage? What's happened to D-Dot then? Oh, that's what happened to D-Dot. He smashed it straight into a wall. Yeah, that you'll get engine damage doing that, mate. You can't park that. So unfortunately for D-Dot, that's going to drop him a few places back. Oh, we've got a yellow flag out. So who's off? That's Idol 4 Gaming is off. What happened to Darren? Did he just clip a wheel on the outside of P1? Because that will give you suck. And yeah, he got sucked. Held it pretty well, but unfortunately just clipped the curb, which sent the car into a bit of a spin. So unfortunately for Idol 4 Gaming, that drops him from P6 down to P8 then, just ahead of D.90. Champ Champ still winning in the battle with Wolfie. Champ Champ will defend now. That's naturally dropping him to Dizzy and Dylan. This is, of course, and I will keep saying this. This is a team game. Champ Champ at the moment is being ultimate wingman, so he's dropped the slipstream of the guys ahead. Now the two guys ahead have been slipstreaming each other, and that naturally will make them a bit quicker. Champ Champ, who's been having to defend to Wolfie and hasn't got the slipstream of anyone ahead, he's still going to defend against these boys. Unfortunately for him, Wolfie's in prime slipstream range now. 6 tenths was about the best range for Spa. He actually pulls out of the slipstream. Bit confusing, but there we go. Oh, he got very close under braking there, did Wolfie. But it's quite difficult to make a legitimate pass through Sector 2 here at Spa unless you absolutely yeet it down the inside, which, to be brutally honest, we've seen happen, and he's happened a little bit of contact. He doesn't take advantage, though. He lets Champ Champ continue on, but that's going to unsettle Champ Champ just a little bit. Flicking through the rest of the pack now, we do have Idol 4 Gaming just trying to... Oh, D-Dot again. D-Dot's just dropping back now, unfortunately. He's down in P10. As we see, the first to pit is Dominator. So he's come out. He's pitted lap 6. It's 12 minutes into the race, Dominator's quite an early stop. Full tank of fuel and some racing softs for Dominator. The top guys definitely have enough fuel for another probably 2 laps, in fairness. if they want to go. So pit end of lap 7, maybe end of lap 8 if they're feeling brave. Tyres certainly aren't slowing them down enough to justify a pit stop for tyres just yet. ADG's got himself ahead of Wolfie. Wolfie, it must be said, has used quite a bit of tyre up. ADG might pit the end of this lap. He is pitting this lap, and so is Wolfie. So this will work one of two ways for these boys. These can either try and go for the undercut, but unfortunately I can't foresee anything other than what Mocking Weeks did last week. Someone's going to beat that. D-Dot. Yeah, they'll pit. Yeah, D-Dot's having a bit of a one to forget, unfortunately, so far. Unfortunately for D-Dot, and it's a shame because he puts a lot of effort into these things, and he just doesn't get the best rub of the green sometimes. So, yeah, we're starting to see things get mixed up now. It's the way it was before. See a lot of these drivers pit at the end of this lap. Pilgrim saved a lot of fuel, the most out of anyone. So, gonna be one to watch. Pilgrim is P6 at the moment. A couple of Tanso chaps have pitted ahead of him, so he's probably like a net P8, P9. If his fuel saving efforts are to be believed, then he could jump a couple of places through the pit stop phases. We'll keep an eye on that and see what he does. At the moment it's Dylan and Dizzy working well together, not really costing each other any time. They have still been pulling a consistent gap to Champ behind. Champ who held off the two Tanso boys for quite a while, now has no pressure from behind. Some of these boys could probably have there's probably another lap's worth in this tank, you know. Whether they'll brave it or not, I'm not too sure, but it depends what the strategy says. So pitting at 15 minutes really is just a tiny bit too early to make a two-stop work unless you really do fuel safe. So yeah, Dylan is going to go for another lap. Dizzy's going to pit now. He's probably used a little bit more fuel. Champ, he's going to pit now as well. So Dylan's going to carry on. So he's probably gonna. You're definitely going to try and set himself up for the two-stop. You think? I think the only other driver that can afford to stay out is going to be this one, P1 Pilgrim. Definitely got another lap's worth of fuel on board that car. He will come out for another lap. Now, this won't really do well for right now. Of course, it will jump him up a couple of positions, but he's not doing it for an immediate gain. He's playing the long run. He wants to run one less pit stop towards the end of the race than everyone else does. And here at Spa, that is worth a lot of time. So the two Tanso chaps, Wolfie and ADG, back up to P4, P5. So they're going to come out just ahead of Champ, yep. Now that's via the undercut, so they've been able to run a fast lap basically while Champ was going around fuel saving. If you Champ, you might just want to let him have this one. Just try and stick in the slipstream as much as possible. If the move's on, by all means do it, but don't knack up your own long game race for short-term benefit, because it's really not worth it right now. Pilgrim could have another lap out of this, you know. It's definitely possible for Pilgrim to do another lap. Bob's also gone for another lap. A lot of P1 drivers, top 3 as it sits at the moment, they're all still yet to pit. So yeah, Dizzy's pit lap then for a full tank and softs was a 2:53. So it's about a 40-something second pit stop here at Spa, which is enough. So Dylan's going to come out. Will he come out? He should come out ahead of Wolfie. He should still come out ahead of Wolfie and ADG. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. That'll be one very powerful undercut if they manage to jump this one. He should be fine. Dylan into his pit box now. Pilgrim also going to pit. Rob S will also pit. It is at this stage that Dizzy will assume the lead of the race, I should imagine. Unless Dylan can get out of that pit box in time. It won't be worth obviously keeping an eye on that. Just seeing where he comes out in relation to Wolfie. So Dizzy comes through the source now. Wolfie, ADG, also going to come through. Dylan, where is Dylan? Side by side with Dizzy. Yep, these two. Now, the casuals among us will be watching this and thinking, hang on, Wolfie's done a blinder here. He's only 3.8 seconds behind him. Well, that's the power of the undercut. But don't forget, he's already burned through quite a bit of his fuel, so he'll have to pit a lot sooner than Dylan will. Dylan and Dizzy, of course, held on that bit longer. By virtue of doing that, we'll probably be able to pit towards the end of lap 14, and in some cases lap 16 as well. So it's going to, yeah, it's going to stretch it out, this one. So Wolfie and ADG at the moment running good pace, but they are. They're probably going to have to pit towards lap sort of 11, lap 12, whereas Dizzy and Dylan can potentially go quite a bit further into the race. D-Dot back up to P8, then a few of the drivers behind him have pitted. Pilgrim, who took that late pit stop, now in P9, just ahead of Maniaf. Dominator in 11th, Rob S, the latest one to pit, P12 for Rob at the moment. We are nearly 20 minutes into this one. We've got a 38-second split from the last driver to the front one, so still not a massive gap between all the drivers. Will team orders come into play here for Team P1? Will they be on the radio to Dizzy, asking Dylan if Dylan can come through? I'd only imagine that's going to be a threat if the guys behind start to catch. And ADG, having just set the fastest lap of the race at 2:04.9. That last lap for Dylan wasn't showing properly. It's showing as a 2:01. We know it wasn't. Representatively for Dylan was a for Dizzy was a 2:06.2 that last time out. So ADG that time round was over a second faster than the guy currently running in P1. Of course, the guys in P1 and 2 long game players. Dylan goes through, and yeah, Dizzy just obliges, lets that happen. ADG also got ahead of Wolfie. Team orders probably involved in that one as well. ADG probably felt he had the pace to do something about these guys in P1 and P2, and I'll tell you what, at the moment his pace is definitely enough. I watched a race that ADG won on Wednesday. He took part in a GT3 race that I watched, and he absolutely dominated it, start to finish. He was just inch perfect the entire way around. So ADG, someone we know is very capable, and we know what Wolf is all about from last week as well. Valium and Idol 4 starting to go at it. 20-second gap to Champ ahead. D-Dot won in P8, then Maniaf looking to upset that. Jumping on board with the Irishman for the time being. Oh, D-Dot gets it very unstable there coming through P1. That is going to let Maniaf through, well, at least close the door, close the gap. And D-Dot goes defensive. He's gone through Piff Path. There's a very loose rear end for D-Dot. Martin JL09 confirming his status of out of the room. Brexit's the room, I'm afraid. Oh, D-Dot's run wide there through Stavlo. And that's going to let Pilgrim through as well. This is on board with D.90 coming into Stavlo 1. Just doesn't scrub enough speed off, unfortunately, and yeah, he goes off into the sand and starts making some lovely sand castles, but still running P10 ahead of Dominator and P1 Rob. Checking in with the top guys and ADG. really reeling Dizzy in now. Of course, ADG is going to be looking to make a pit stop in a couple of laps' time. Dizzy's got a little bit more fuel than ADG at the moment, a little bit of a heavier car. Also, he has fresher tyres than the car behind him, so in theory, he should be able to hold ADG off here quite a bit. That is letting Dylan escape. Dylan's 3 seconds up the road at the moment. He's starting to scamper away a little bit. Is Dylan, as ADG just runs a little bit wide there, coming out of Dave corner. I call it Dave because as far as I'm aware it hasn't actually got a name, so we just started calling it Dave. Valium then, defending away to idle 4. Hard to overtake in this section of the circuit. Also, weirdly enough, the one where you can lose the most time, and idle 4 Gaming just having to take a very patient approach to this one. As Valium negotiates P1RC to potentially line up a move into the bus stop chicane, which is the most logical way of doing it. Then all Wolf is through to P3. What happened there? Did we catch it on camera? No, we didn't. ADG dropped back down to P4 somewhere along the line. Champ then starting to just put the pressure on now. Now he's caught up a little bit. Something must have happened to ADG because he's lost quite a bit of time that lap. It was a 2:09.2 for ADG. Yeah, so he's definitely made a mistake somewhere. On paper, he should be able to pull straight back away from Champ, but we will see. Stranger things have happened. Lap 12 then, so we should start to see some more pit stops happening again. The guys that are doing the free stop will start to think now's about the time. Then right on the back of Dizzy now. A little bit more comfortable because the cars behind aren't really in a position to put any pressure on, so Wolfie will probably start to try and chase down Dizzy. A little bit further back we've got Champ who's got ahead of ADG. Not sure when that move actually happened. I do apologise, I missed that one. Champ now ahead of ADG. Has something happened to ADG? I'm not too sure. Might just be tyres going off, I don't really know. Idle 4 Gaming then ahead of Valium. I'm missing all the overtakes tonight, so Idle 4 Gaming's got himself up to P6. Valium again, another driver that's potentially just trying to play the long game here. He's got a little bit more fuel than the car ahead. And then we've got Pilgrim and D-Dot. D-Dot after that off of laps ago is trying to redeem himself. Had a really good lap last time at 2:06.8. Oh, got it a bit wrong. I'm just going to stop cutting to you, mate. It's easier because every time I do, you have a massive accident. Dominator then has come back into the pit, and he has got a further set of softs and some more fuel. Wolfie in the pits. Did he need to? No, he didn't need to pit. He had enough for another lap. So this is them committing to committing to another further stop really. So it's hard to see where the logic in that one is. I'm not gonna lie, but maybe they were just convinced they couldn't stretch out this stint enough. So you might, if you're going to commit, you might as well. Oh, someone's lost it in the background there. Who was that? Was that D-Dot? Was that you, D-Dot? Right, better angle. It's going to be Pilgrim, innit? Oh, lost it in 4K there, D-Dot, I'm afraid, my mate, and properly spun it round. Patiently await the next round of stops then. Some of those stops are happening nice and early. Wolfie 10 for Wolfie. He's got D-Dot with him. So is this going to be just a max attack strategy for Wolfie then? Just go as fast as I possibly can go. Hopefully get some clear air as he sends it down the inside of Rob. Rob's going to fight back. Rob has got a teammate behind him. Unfortunately it just goes out on the rough stuff and there's no grip out there, so Wolfie's just going to be able to drive away. Yeah, what's Wolfie's strategy here? Because Pilgrim ahead could be a bit of a roadblock for Wolfie, because Pilgrim's got half a tank of fuel left. It could make life very difficult. ADG's in the pits, he had to pit, he was running out of fuel. Dylan's done a fantastic job on his fuel as well, he's got a third of a tank left. Good for another 3 laps maybe in that one, so yeah, he's going to be pushing laps 17, you think? Basically what he needs to do is he knows that you can do, what, a 15-minute stint? So if he can drag another 6 minutes out of this one, he will do. So that's the golden number, so it's looking like a lot of these cars, that we're seeing pit now, will struggle to make it to the end on the tyres and the fuel that they've got on board, and they will probably have to come in again towards the end of the race. Yeah, so it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for some of these boys. Dylan's trying to make it look easy, but it's taking quite a lot of careful driving, that. Pit stops are messing up the order once again. Wolfie is reeling Pilgrim in really quickly. How difficult is Pilgrim going to make this? You wonder, don't you? You absolutely wonder how difficult Pilgrim's going to make this for Wolfie. Wolfie on fresh tyres through sector 2. That gap is just over a second. I would imagine that will drop like an absolute stone coming through sector 2. New tyres are worth so much more time coming through here. You can just carry so much more corners, but especially Pef Path. Like these two corners here on fresh tyres, it's a dream. Whereas on worn tyres, you're just fighting understeer the entire way through. Wolfie there, look, just 6 tenths, boom, gone. So Wolfie's best chance is a move down. If he gets a good exit here, he can get the move done on the run to Blanchimont. Pilgrim's just in the way, unfortunately. He's going to have to be looking up the inside at the bus stop, but Pilgrim's not going to have to pit for a little while, as Champ does pit from P3. Wolfie on the inside at Blanchimont is getting a little bit tappy between the two. Pilgrim's going to defend that one. Oh, but Pilgrim goes deep. Unfortunately, loses that position to Wolfie. Let's just have a look on board. So this is on board with Wolfie. So we'll cut to the left in a moment, and this is to get the inside for Blanchimont. I don't know how either of them could have really avoided that. And then Pilgrim with the dirty tyres, unfortunately, did just go deep into the bus stop chicane. So yeah, that's Wolfie then up to P3. Unfortunately, I think that's just hampered him a little bit in terms of overall pace. He really needed a bit of a clean run coming out of that one, and he didn't get it. Dylan then still out, lap 15 for Dylan, 4.7 seconds ahead of Dizzy in P2. Dizzy's probably going to be pitting this lap. He is 41 seconds ahead of Wolfie, so he might retain P2 after the stop. Pilgrim P4 at the moment, probably got enough for another 2 laps on board that car. Then we've got P1 Rob, again another 2 laps on board his car. He's P5 at the moment. Rob's having a very understated but good race, just keeping his nose clean, doing a very, very good job. Then you've got Champ has just pitted in P6. He should be able to go to the end, we think, on the tyres and that he's got. ADG might struggle to get to the end then on the tyres and the fuel that he's got. But he's going to go for the move anyway. No, doesn't make it happen. We've got Valiant, P8 for Valiant. He's going to have to pit again. But he's showing he's on outlap and he's only got half a tank of fuel on board. So I don't know what Valiant's doing here. I really couldn't tell you. Idle Gaming P9, Maniaf P10, Dominator 11th and D-Dot in 12th. But it does look like he pitted the lap before last. So might explain that one. Right then, so does Wolfie get himself back up to P2? What's the strategy then? What is the strategy here for Wolfie? There's Dizzy. So it does just drop out of P2, albeit temporarily, because we know Wolfie is going to have to pit before the end of the race. I mean, question of when and for what. So does he do the full fuel and tyre thing? Got to be honest, looking at the state of those tyres, you probably want to put fresh boots on. Definitely got the allocation to do that. Dylan's got a 46-second gap in the lead there, so Dylan might be able to pit and come out still in the lead of the race. Should be pretty close then between him and Dizzy, you'd imagine. We shall see. And then it's just a question of, is everyone else going to pit towards the end of this lap and set us up for a grandstand finish? Because this P7 to P4 battle at the moment, I mean, Champ, who's right at the back, has got near enough a full tank of fuel. He might be able to make it to the end of the race. ADG ahead of him might be trying to squeak it out to the end of the race as well. Pilgrim ahead, becoming a bit of a roadblock then for everybody else. He's P5, he's got laps left, a lap's worth of fuel left. ADG's having to just try and force the issue on the inside here. Gets the move done, does ADG up to P5. And does Pilgrim let his teammate through? He does indeed. That's a very easy move for Champ. Although it's still going to affect his speed then coming through Stavlo 2. Yeah, it's all messed up at the moment. Lee, how you doing, Lee? Yeah, good you missed it, mate. It would have been good to see you on track. Champ, though, in your absence, is having a very fun-filled race. So Wolfie carries on this lap. So we'll see if he assumes the lead of the race. Dylan's getting released from the pits now. Wolfie is coming round. Oh, Dylan should keep the lead. Yeah, he does. Once the timing screen settled itself down, we'll see the gap. It's about 4 seconds. So Dylan then, definitely making it to the end of the race on the tyres and fuel he's got. Wolfie, very surprised if he... well, yeah, he's going to have to pit again. There's no way. What else have we got going on throughout the field? We've got Pilgrim in the pits now with Rob. D-Dot's out as well. Will he be going to the end? It's hard to say. Yeah, it's really hard to say what happens. So Wolfie's just going to try and upset the apple cart here a little bit. Just try and put some pressure on Dylan. If I know Dylan well enough, he won't really care about that. He'll just do his thing. Driving off into the sunsets is somewhat of a busman's holiday for this guy, so he'll not be fazed by a car a couple of seconds behind him. Dizzy, who had a great race last week, great race so far this week as well. We see ADG's fastest lap beaten as well, 2:04.9 for the fastest lap so far. That was set on lap 9 by ADG. Got to be honest, not many drivers have come close to it ever since, mostly 2:06s for everybody else. literally just trying to see what might happen in terms of who might be pitting next and what might happen in terms of strategy. And yeah, I honestly think Wolfie's going to have to pit. When he pits, he'll come out probably near Maniaf, you'd imagine. In fact, not even near Maniaf, you know. He'll come out in P8 when Wolfie pits. Depending how much fuel he has to take on board, which admittedly shouldn't be too much. Probably about 40-50 kilos to get into the end of the race. But he should, in theory, only have 2 laps worth of fuel left on board that car, so he might well pit towards end of lap 19, lap 20. But he is dropping time to Dylan up ahead, and Dizzy is reeling him in as well. So Dizzy, someone who is going to the end of the race, we believe. With the fresher tyres. It's going to start to put Wolfie under some pressure now. Yeah, I'm just a bit confused about Wolfie's strategy. It has thrown me. Because it's hard to make up a pit stop here at Spa. With him being 40 odd seconds, you've got to be a lot faster each lap to make it worth it. And it's hard to do that much pace. Right, so Wolfie's going to peel off into the pits now. What's happening to Dominator? Is that lag? Not sure. In theory, when Wolfie comes out of the pits, he should come out just ahead of this guy. In theory. So yeah, that big gap there basically is where Wolfie should peel out into. And then he's just got a busy afternoon of trying to overtake all these guys. And he's got 10 minutes to do it. Lewis Hamilton in the sprint race springs to mind. If anyone hasn't watched that already, quick spoiler alert for you. Lewis Hamilton, of course, got disqualified in the Brazil qualifying. Came all the way from P20 to P5 in the sprint race. It was a great watch. So yeah, Wolfie out P7 then. As Dominator's pitted, was it? Yeah, he's pitted. So P7 for Wolfie, 11 seconds behind Idle 4 Gaming. A few cars ahead are probably going to have to pit in fairness, so Idle 4 Maniaf, we think they're definitely going to have to pit. Champ might well be able to make it. It's going to be close, so I think anyone with half a tank or less, it's going to be really touch and go for them. ADG's going to pit as well. So how far off the lead is Wolfie? He's 45 seconds off the lead of Wolfie then, so Wolfie might well be able to get back to P3 here, because everyone ahead of him still got a pit as well. It's just Wolfie took his pit stop at a slightly different time, which has mixed things up and confused me a little bit. So we'll get to the crux of it as Dylan, who did beat the fastest lap, he must be listening, because it was about during lap 19 that I said, so is anyone going to beat this fastest lap or what? And Dylan did beat that fastest lap by about 2 tenths of a second. So well done, Dylan. 2:04.7. He's going to the end now, this chap. Only a mistake you'd think would put pay to that. Then you got Dizzy. Should be clear to the end now, Dizzy. ADG 1, 2, 3. Out in P3. You would imagine he still needs to drop into the pits again. Same with Idle 4 Gaming. You'd imagine. Wolfie then clear out now. Definitely got enough fuel on board that car to go max attack towards the end of the race. He's got a 46 second gap between him and Dylan. But crucially, I think there's a couple of cars ahead do need to pit, but he's going to struggle to get some of them on just raw pace alone. You've got Valiant and Pilgrim pretty close together. Rob S having a good race then in P7. A lot of these drivers then going to the end. Pilgrim out of the pits now. P8 for Pilgrim. Valiant P9. Maniaf P10. Dominator 11th with D-Dot in 12th. D-Dot not a million miles away from getting a lap put on him, unfortunately, by Dylan. But he has had a very eventful race, as you can tell by all the paint damage on his car. It's been a busy old night for D-Dot. Right, ADG, we think he'll pit this lap then, so that will put him behind Wolfie, maybe might get ahead. Yeah, he should get ahead of Rob. So he should just sneak ahead of Rob. So he should come out in P7 if he pits now. So the P1 boys again in for a very good points haul. So they should hold P1 to P3 in this race with Champ coming through. Of course, Mr. Don's replacement. Idle 4 Gaming having a very good drive so far as well. He's coming into the pits for a bit of a splash and dash. That should promote Wolfie up a couple of positions. So he should jump back up to P4 once he's all cycled through. Sets his personal best lap of the race as well, 2:05.6. 9 tenths behind the fastest lap of the race so far, set by Dylan. 2:05, still a very good lap time. Dylan would have been pushing that lap. So yeah, ADG then comes out in P5. So Tanso DMK picking up some points at least, but this hasn't been as good of an outing for them as St. Croix was, because P1 pretty much is a top 10 takeover at the moment. We've only really got Idle 4 Gaming in P8. We've got Wolfie and ADG, so they've only got 3 drivers inside the top 10 here, none of them on the podium. That is a complete P1 takeover up there, led by this man who's pretty much dominated start to finish. Didn't get the pole position, but working very closely with Dizzy, who did get that pole position. Dizzy didn't put up a fight, played the team game, did the Bottas. Still will have a very good podium position to show for it towards the end of this one. So I should imagine all pit stops are done now. Should see the end of all those. Will the 2 Tanso guys fight it out for P4 honours? Pilgrim and Idle 4 Gaming starting to battle it out now a little bit. We've got Maniaf in the fray as well. So Idle 4 with the fresher rubber, much fresher rubber, should be a relatively easy move for Idle 4 Gaming yet. We've seen this happen with Pilgrim before. Does he go for the move back through to the bus stop chicane? Idle 4 Gaming might have to go defensive here just to stop that happening. He doesn't. Pilgrim is going to launch one down the inside. Unfortunately, Idle 4 was just able to get comfortable enough on the brakes, and that's going to bring Maniaf into attack mode as well. But Maniaf might ask for team orders here, because he's got fresher tyres than Pilgrim. And Maniaf probably in the better position to start chasing down Idle 4 Gaming, as we're now into the penultimate lap of the race then. So we'll see what happens here with team orders then for P1. So it's Pilgrim and Maniaf, 8th and 9th position. Pilgrim's not taking a defensive stance here. Yeah, that slipstream has definitely helped him then. He's up to P8 and he can get about then chasing down Idle 4 Gaming, who has similar age tyres, a little bit fresher tyres to be fair to Idle 4 Gaming. He's got P1 Rob to try and chase down. Now Rob does have worn tyres, plenty of fuel on board for Rob, so he doesn't need to worry about fuel saving. But we'll see. What the gap? 1.5 seconds then is the gap between Rob and Idle 4. You would imagine during the corners Idle 4 can just run a little bit faster, has a little bit more grip. Just chunk a little bit of time out of Rob, but not a lot. We know Rob can drive. Did miss the apex there through Stavlo. That'll hurt his overall run. He will be losing little bits of pace here all the way through Blanchimont. In fact, he has done. He's already lost 3 temps to Idle 4 Gaming, who did hook up his apexes quite nicely. Rob's older tyres also going to hurt his braking into the bus stop chicane. Idle 4, we've seen in his battle against Pilgrim, can just be a little bit later on the brakes. It was about just under 9 temps coming into there. Rob actually did a very good job. But even so, Idle 4 Gaming with the slipstream advantage and the better brakes, just playing the patient game still. You can't be too patient because Maniaf is immediately sat about chasing down Idle 4 Gaming. Oh, that move's already happened for Idle 4 Gaming. We missed that completely. What happened? We will jump, hopefully get back on board with them by the time they hit the Camel Straight. But what happened to Rob? Did he just lose the back end? Yeah, he did, yeah. That's what helped. Oh, look at this. We jumped back straight back in time. Rob slipstreamed his way back up then. Idle 4 managed to hold off Maniaf. Oh, there's been contact, I think, but I don't know if that's Idle 4's fault. We can jump back on and have a look. Let's have a look at this. So this is Rob then. He got ahead in the slipstream phase. Let's just give this view to Idle. Yeah, you got to look. Yeah, that's not Idle 4's, for nothing he can do about that. Maniaf though, it's going to be a harder car to overtake for Darren than Rob was. Much harder. So Dizzy's, I've just completely missed the timer's gone. So Dizzy's finished in P2. We've got finishing positions now being confirmed. That battle was ever so intriguing. So we've got Champ then in P3. So it's going to be a P1 podium. ADG, who managed to get ahead of Wolfie just about, but has run out of fuel. So Wolfie will retain P4. ADG will just about limp home for 5th. Idle 4 Gaming. Oh, Maniaf has lost it. I'm going to go back and have a look at that. I should have enough time to go back and have a look at that. Idle 4 Gaming, a great drive for Idle 4 here, P6, and the competition here has been fierce tonight. He's just kept it clean. Clinical drive then for Idle 4 Gaming. P1 Pilgrim involved in a little bit of a kerfuffle, let's just say, at the start of the race. P7 for him. Then you got Valium in P8, Rob in P9. Unfortunate for Rob near the end of the race then. Maniaf in 10th. We're going to go back and have a look at what happened to Maniaf, Dominator and D-Dot rounding out your results. But let's just jump back and have a quick look at what happened to Maniaf, because I should still have it on a replay. Might have to go back a little bit further than that. Give me a sec. Have I still got it? Let's have a look. Yeah. Oh, he just runs it out wide coming out of Stavlo. Just tries to keep it pinned, unfortunately. So yeah, Maniaf P10. Dominator in P11. D-Dot. D-Dot's going to be 12th. Dylan then comes home to win the race, even though he has run out of fuel. Maximum fuel efficiency there for this GTR, and unfortunately for D-Dot, he's had a bit of one for forget. He's spent quite a bit of time buried into a wall as D-Dot. Yeah, but an absolute clinical drive then by P1. It's got to be said. Did say fuel enough. Actually, I don't know what I did. I think you did. I think you did a bang up job there, Dizzy. To be fair, I think Dylan just was able to have a really good pace, even though he fuel saved. Sometimes it's just the way it is. Some people are just very good at that. You were better than everyone else at fuel saving, and you reap the rewards for it. So confirmation of the standings then. We'll go and have a look at the results screen in just a moment. Overall victory for the race, of course, goes to Dylan. Where are we next week, boys? If anyone could let me know, that would be great. You're welcome, Idle 4, mate. Yeah, let me know where we are next week. So here's confirmation of your race results then. Dylan with the victory lap, lapped everybody. So it's P1 Dylan, then Dizzy, then Champ, Wolfie, ADG, Idle 4, Pilgrim, Valium, Rob, Maniaf, Dominator, then D.P12. We did have a DNF, which is Martin. I have a gut feeling what happened to him, but I'm sure if anything needs referring to the stewards, it will get referred to the steward. Yeah, baggy mate. That's just showing. I think in the P1 chat, I don't know if you saw it. The boys were like, right, this one's for bags. Like, you could tell. You could tell. Like, I mean, I know you guys are quick anyway. I know I give you all this P2 banter and all that stuff, but it's all born from a place of love. You've got some seriously quick dudes in your team, and they're doing you proud at the moment. So yeah, representing really well P1. I should imagine that will grow the standings a little bit for P1 in the what do you call it, in the overall standings. But you know, enough respect to Tanso. Like, they've got some good drivers in their armoury. They always show up. They always, you know, they give it a crack. They've got some very good drivers driving for them, and you know, they can still be proud as well. It just wasn't their day today, I don't think. Like, a lot of things didn't go their way. So yeah, that's it. That's it for tonight. We'll be back next week. Yeah, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. I don't know what track, but hey, surprise for next week. But the format will be the same, so it's going to be same sort of duration stream. We'll be live about the same time. It'll be another 50-minute endurance race with a 10-minute quali bolted on in the Nissan GTR 2008, and we should have the same sort of drivers, maybe a few changes depending on who, what, and when. Yeah, Bags, mate. Yeah, we're all here for you, my dude. I know it's hard. Well, you know, I've got family that have been through it, and you know my story as well. That I've been side by side with people who've gone through it, and family members and stuff. I'm not going to go into it on stream, but you know, I know how hard it is, and I know what you're going through. I know it's hard to wake up every day and be positive, but mate, max respect for the for what you do. You know, you've brought us lot together in a lot of ways, and we just want to repay that. So always in our thoughts, my dude. If you ever need anything, let us know. We hope you start feeling better soon. Back to the baggy we know and love, and yeah, mate, maximum love to you, my friend. So yeah, I'll close out the stream in just a mo. Thank you very much for joining in and getting involved in the chat if you have. It's really good to have the engagement in the stream. I'll see you next week for more of the same. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you all in the next one.